Your parents bought a house on one income. You can't afford one on two. This wasn't an accident. Your grandparents raised 4 kids, owned a home, had a car, took vacations on one salary. One person worked, one person stayed home, and somehow they had enough. Now, both partners work full-time, you have 1 kid, maybe 2, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck. What happened? The story you've been told is that 2 incomes made families wealthier, that women entering the workforce improved household finances, that dual-income households have more opportunity, more freedom, more choice. And on paper, that should be true, right? 2 incomes, double the money, better life. Except it didn't work out that way. Let me show you what actually happened. 1970, average household, 1 income, let's say the equivalent of $50,000 today. That bought you a house, a car, raised 2 kids, and the other parent stayed home. No daycare costs, no second car, no extra expenses. Total household expenses? Maybe $40,000. You had $10,000 left over, savings, cushion, breathing room. 2025, same household, 2 incomes, combined, let's say $90,000. Sounds better, right? Double the workers, almost double the income. Except now, the house costs twice as much, because when lenders realized families had 2 incomes, they approved bigger mortgages. Housing prices adjusted not to 1 income anymore, but to 2. Now you need childcare because both parents work. That's $15,000, $20,000, sometimes $30,000 a year depending where you live. Second car because both people commute, insurance, gas, maintenance, more takeout, more convenience spending because nobody has time to cook when both people work 50 hours a week. By the time you add it up, that $90,000, it's gone. All of it, and you're still stressed about money. The second income didn't make you wealthier, it became mandatory. And once it became mandatory, the cost of living adjusted to swallow it whole. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. The 2-career marriage didn't empower families, it empowered landlords, childcare centers, and employers who could keep wages low because they knew households had 2 incomes to rely on. Think about it. If most families only had 1 income, housing couldn't cost what it costs now. Nobody could afford it. Prices would have to come down. If most families had 1 parent at home, childcare wouldn't be a $15 billion industry. It wouldn't need to be. But once 2 incomes became the norm, everything that families need, housing, childcare, healthcare, all of it got repriced to match. The market didn't see 2 incomes and think, great, now families have more disposable income. It saw 2 incomes and thought, great, now we can charge more. And families had no choice but to pay, because going back to 1 income, that's not even an option anymore, not unless you're wealthy or willing to live in a van. So now, everyone works, both partners, all the time, just to achieve the same standard of living 1 income used to provide. Same house, same car, same life, twice the labor. You're not wealthier, you're just working more. And here's the cruel irony. Women entering the workforce, that was supposed to be about choice, right? The choice to have a career, to have independence, to not be financially dependent on a spouse. And that's good. That part is good. But here's what happened. The choice disappeared. Now, it's not can women work, it's must women work, because 1 income isn't enough anymore. The system adjusted. It captured that second income, turned it from an option into a requirement. So now, nobody has a choice. Not women, not men. Everyone has to work because the cost of living is designed for 2 incomes. That's not freedom. That's a trap. My name is Cashford, and I spend way too much time thinking about how we all ended up working twice as hard for the same life our parents had on half the effort. If you're someone who feels like you're doing everything right and still falling behind, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Let me give you a specific example. You and your partner, both working, let's say one of you makes $50,000, the other makes $40,000, $90,000 combined. Sounds decent, middle class, comfortable. Now let's break it down. Housing, if you want to live somewhere with good schools, that's probably 30% of your income, maybe more. Let's call it $27,000 a year. Childcare for 1 kid, average cost in the US is about $12,000 a year. 2 kids, that's $24,000. 2 cars, insurance, gas, maintenance, another $12,000, conservative estimate, health insurance, even with employer contributions, another $6,000 out of pocket, food, utilities, basic living expenses, another $20,000, and that's being modest. We're at $89,000, and we haven't included student loans, credit card debt, saving for retirement, saving for your kids' college, or ever going on vacation. You're at $90,000 income, $89,000 in basic expenses. You have $1,000 left for the year. $83 a month. That's your margin. 1 car repair, 1 medical bill, 1 anything, and you're in debt. And this is with 2 people working full-time. Now go back to 1970. 1 income, $50,000 in today's dollars. Housing was 20% of income, not 30. That's $10,000 saved right there. No childcare because 1 parent was home. That's another $12,000 to $24,000 saved. 1 car, not 2, another $6,000 saved. 1 income, $50,000, expenses maybe $35,000 to $40,000, $10,000 to $15,000 cushion. You worked less, you had more. Now you work more, you have less. That's not progress, that's extraction. And here's what really frustrates me. Nobody wants to admit this, because admitting it feels like you're saying women shouldn't work, or that feminism was a mistake, or some regressive traditional values nonsense. But that's not what this is. This is about economic capture. Women entering the workforce. Good. Independence, careers, autonomy, all good things. But the system took that progress and turned it into a requirement, then raised the cost of living to match, so now everyone has to work, nobody gets a choice, and families are worse off financially than they were when only 1 person worked. The problem isn't that women work. The problem is that the economy requires both partners to work and then takes everything that second income provides. It's the same standard of living at double the effort, for the benefit of landlords and corporations, not families. That's the scam. And the worst part? You can't go back. Even if you wanted to, even if 1 partner said, "I'll stay home, we'll cut expenses, we'll make it work," you probably can't, because housing alone requires 2 incomes now. It's literally priced for dual-income households. You're locked in. That's why this feels so suffocating, because you're working as hard as you possibly can, both of you, and it's still not enough, and there's no exit. You didn't choose this, it chose you. And I think on some level, everyone knows this. That's why so many people are exhausted, burnt out, resentful, even when they love their jobs, even when they believe in what they do, because deep down they know they're working twice as hard as their parents did for less security, less stability, less time with their kids, and they can't even complain about it without sounding ungrateful, because you're supposed to be happy that both partners can work, that women have careers, that households have 2 incomes, but nobody told you that 2 incomes would become the price of entry, that 1 income would stop being enough, that the choice would disappear. And now here we are. 2 people working full-time, barely making it, wondering why the math doesn't add up, wondering why their parents had it easier on half the income. It's not because you're bad with money, it's not because you're not working hard enough, it's because the system absorbed your second income and gave you nothing in return. Think about what happens next. Right now, 2 incomes are mandatory. What happens when 2 incomes aren't enough? It's already starting. People working side hustles, gig economy, freelance, nights and weekends just to cover the gap. That's 3 incomes now. 2 full-time jobs plus side work just to achieve what 1 income used to provide. How much more can people work before something breaks? Or maybe it's already broken and we're just pretending it's not, because admitting it feels too overwhelming, too hopeless, too much like there's no way out. But here's the thing. You can't fix a problem you won't name. And the problem is this. The 2-career marriage killed the middle class because people are working. It killed the middle class because the system took that second income and turned it into a mandatory tribute just to live the life that used to be the default. You're paying double for the same product and calling it progress? So here's my question. If two incomes can't provide the security one income used to, if both partners working full-time still leaves you one emergency away from financial collapse, at what point do we stop calling this the middle class and start calling it what it actually is? Working poor with better marketing?